Welcome to Flow with the Grow. I'm your host, Sophia, a health and fitness professional, positivity distributor, and a real-life human being with real-life challenges. Every Tuesday, you will hear my honest conversations on the day-to-day highs and lows that life teaches us, as well as bring you actionable tips that you can implement to improve your health and wellness journey. This podcast will empower you to flow with the inevitable setbacks of life. You will learn what it means to flow with the grow, see through a lens of optimism, and navigate your way to living your best life. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Now let's jump into your daily dose of positivity and growth. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Flow with the Grow. If you listened to my last episode 35, I was a little bit sick in my voice and you could hear it. So I'm kind of just getting over that sickness. So I may still here and there sound like my voice is not normal, I guess. I don't know. At least that's how I'm hearing it. But I'm just kind of getting over that. And I'm super appreciative and grateful for the people around me because I had a lot of people reach out saying, just kind of worried and asking if I was okay, if they could get me anything. And I just realized, wow, I'm really blessed with all these people around me who have this concern and care about me. And it just kind of made me feel good, I guess. It's not normal for me to get sick. Like I get sick maybe once a year, if that. And usually it's some sort of cold or sinus, migraine stuff going on, congestion. And yeah, that's what I had. So I'm doing much better. I feel better. That's for sure. I was miserable the first few days, but I'm definitely doing better now. I think that for me, one reason I may have gotten sick was because I was go all the time. I don't know. I mean, of course, I could always catch something from someone, but I was forced to slow down. I was forced to just kind of stop everything I was doing and not get all the things done, not be as productive other than focusing on sleep and rest and get better. And I took about a week off of working out and like any sort of exercise at all. And social media, like I took this social media hiatus. I went on every now and then just to check like notifications and messages from clients, things like that. But I really did not scroll and I was paying more attention to what I was paying attention to what my attention was being, what my energy was being, what am I trying to say? I was paying more attention to where I was allowing my energy and attention to be on social media. So like, I did not share anything whatsoever. Post stories, which is also not like me. So I'm sure that's why people also reached out to me, but nothing. And it's been amazing. It's been freeing. And it's like my quality of life mentally and emotionally has improved too, because I'm not constantly scrolling, looking at things. And it's kind of one of the goals I set for myself in 2021 anyways. But speaking of goals for 2021, I'm going to speak about a goal that I set for myself in 2020. So last year, I decided to give up alcohol in the year 2020. I'm going to share with you how I did it, challenges I faced, tips if you're wanting to do the same thing, if you're wanting to not drink alcohol in 2021 or a future year. I'm going to share with you what I learned, and I'm going to share with you, of course, will I be drinking again? I'm going to share the why, the how, and I'm excited to share. So October 2019 was the last time I drank. And I can't remember if I had the thought of not drinking prior to that or only after. I might have had been thinking about it before that, but for sure after that, October of 2019. It was, I think, towards the end of October. And it was actually for a friend's birthday party. We had gone to downtown Omaha, South Dakota, or Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska. Anyways, we went out for a birthday party, and that was the last time that I drank. But I know I had the thought and the desire for actually a few weeks and like maybe more like a solid 1 to 2 months after the last time I drank. Like I had been thinking about it after I drank, but I didn't fully commit. And even though at one point I started telling myself I was going to, there was this mental hesitation. I didn't think I could do it. Plain and simple. Didn't think I could do it. Didn't think I would follow through. I didn't know or believe in myself that I could or would follow through, which also is why I did not put it out publicly yet. I can't remember if I did, actually, because I might have put it out publicly, because that's always my way of kind of putting it out to the universe that like I'm doing this, kind of this mental accountability of telling other people that I'm doing it. So it's like I want to follow through, and I'm more likely to follow through when I do that. But anyway, even when I did fully commit, which I'll talk about in a few moments here, but the reason was not because I didn't think I would follow through at that point. I wanted to do it for me and only me, not to. So I guess my reasoning, if I did put it out, which the more I think about it, I feel like I did. I just can't remember. But I still was doing it for me, not for anyone else. And not even to show people on social media that I was committing to it or like wanting the attention or bragging about it or anything like that. But if it did, it was more of my way of, like I said, declaring to the universe that this was my intention. I was going to do this. And I didn't really care what people thought about it. Like if I put it out there, people, I mean, who cares? Yeah, she's not going to drink, alcohol, whatever. But it's also a way to hold yourself more accountable to something that you set out to do. Okay, so here's the moment in time I 100% mentally fully committed. It was the end of December, right around Christmas time. And I was in the shower. And by the way, raise your hand if the shower, the bath, is when you'll randomly get some of your best, most creative, and randomest ideas. Because yeah, me too. Or sometimes it is when I make decisions. It's like I don't even know how to explain it. It's like a mental decision of 100% commitment, like a feeling. But anyway, so this wasn't when I got the idea of wanting to not drink in 2020, because like I said, I'd been thinking about it before, pondering the idea, wanting to do it, but not fully thinking I could do it. So this wasn't when I got the idea, but it was legit a feeling. It was a moment where my inner knowing, my intuition, fully, mentally, 100% committed to the decision to not drink alcohol in 2020. And in that moment, it was actually like, it was a decision that was a no-brainer. And I could, in that moment, visualize myself freaking doing it and following through. Like it was like a flash of a visualization of me going through the year, doing it, saying no to times where alcohol did come up. It was a visualization of me at the end of the year being like, hell yeah, I did it, like an empowerment. And in that moment, my mind was made up. I had made up my mind and it was final. I had zero hesitations and I was ready to say it and say no when those times arose. And honestly, all of the feelings of or worries of not following through were gone in a second. I had zero hesitation, zero worry of if I would or could follow through. So here's the why. I'll first start by stating that I in no way want to portray myself as an alcoholic or that I had a problem with alcohol or believe that I had a huge alcohol problem other than the problems that alcohol creates itself. However, I would do some binge drinking from time to time. And when I say sometimes, I mean like a lot of the time. every time I drink, actually. So yeah, like I'll be honest, I did not drink because I liked the taste of alcohol or drinks or shots or whatever. Like I drank to get fucked up. I drank to get drunk. But I've also learned that actually more towards, I guess in 2019, towards the end of 2019, I found that I do like wine. I love wine. I love the taste of wine. I totally would have some just to find or to taste the taste of wine, I guess you could say. But in the past, I did not drink because I like the taste. I drank to get drunk. So there are two main reasons why I made this decision for myself. Number one, I can become someone I really hate, like despise. There are three me's, three Sophies that come out when I'm drunk, and in this order: fun Sophie, emotional Sophie, and Sophie who isn't Sophie. Attention-seeking, walk away, do dumb shit Sophie. And if you have been around me while drinking and in that third Sophie, you know exactly what I'm talking about and who I'm talking about. And this first main reason is Sophie number 3. And then the second main reason was I just would feel like shit the next day. As I get older, it got worse and worse. And the morning after, especially when Sophie number 3 came out, I would be filled with guilt, fear, worry, regret, sickness, like physical sickness. My body hurt physically everywhere, and mental turmoil. And it just was not a good feeling. And that pain was so close. Time and time again, I felt it, but it's like I had had enough. And that pain of the next day, mentally, physically, emotionally, that is the second main reason as to why I quit alcohol in 2020. And I've done things that took me years to finally forgive myself for. Like just recently forgave myself for and held on to for a really long time. Alcohol turns people into something they're not and makes them do things that with a clear, sober mind would not do. And this is my opinion. I'm speaking for myself. I would not do those things, wouldn't have done those things had I been sober. Puts you in a state of mind that your decisions are skewed. And I know people can say, well, alcohol isn't an excuse. And I'm not saying that it just should justify the things that I did, but alcohol does affect your decision making. And not only for me personally did I hurt myself, but I know that I have hurt people along the way. And that is not okay. And it was something that I carried with me for a long time. And then it was like every opportunity to drink was an opportunity to redeem myself. That was my thinking. How effed up is that? It's like every chance that I could get to drink, I would do it to try and redeem myself. And then I would F up again and again and again. I'm not saying every time, but I'm thinking of specific times. And I try and be as real as possible and share the unsexy parts of my life because we're all human. And alcohol has played a big role in those unsexy times of my life. But I've also come out of that stage of my life and I choose to see how it's actually helped me and how it's propelled me forward and how it's helped me become who I am today. And I think most of us have this stage, right? Like the party, do dumb shit stage. I would say most people do, not everyone. So if you're listening and you have this party stage, maybe you're in that party stage, I think we all go through it. Sometimes we come out of it, sometimes not. And for me, the pain was finally enough for me to say, I've had enough. Alcohol needs to go. It serves no purpose, no good, positive purpose in my life. The pain would come time and again, but the pain was now. And that was enough for me to make this change. And I think we all can agree that alcohol is detrimental, right? We know it's not a healthy thing. We know it's not healthy for our brains and health bodies. We know it's not healthy. But with any change you want to make in life, the change is through an emotional decision most of the time. We make choices and change based off emotion. So if the pain of what alcohol does to you is so far in the future, you won't make a change. You won't care to make a change. But if it's now, if there has been something that has brought the pain to the present moment or where it's in reach, you'll be more likely to make a change and stick with it. So for example, we know alcohol can, for example, make us choose, not eat healthy, eat like shit, fast food. The next day we eat shitty and we don't feel good. And maybe that's something that we're kind of used to. And if we don't have diabetes now, we know it's going to create these health problems in the future, right? Like we know that. But if you're in your 20s, younger 20s, whatever it is, you're not going to get diabetes instantly. That's so far in the future. The pain, there is no pain related to that now. But if you are maybe in your 30s, 40s, and you're still drinking and binge drinking and you are on the brink of having, you have diabetes. You have diabetes. If you don't make a change, you're going to destroy your liver or whatever it is. The pain is now. So you're more likely to make a change. Or maybe you see how it's affecting kids or whatever it may be. The pain is now, so you will make a change. If it's in the future, you won't. So just keep that in mind as if you're someone who you're thinking about wanting to make this change, any change, but specifically with alcohol, there has to be a reason now for you to make the change. And it has to be something that is emotional. So you can not only decide to make the change, but follow through. And yes, I am going to leave you hanging with the things, the stories that, the things in my mind that brought me to make this decision. Because there are a few major ones, a couple for sure, a few, 2 to 3 major ones that really propelled this decision. But sorry, but gonna leave you hanging with that. Maybe another episode. So here's the how. Plain and simple, a decision. I decided. I loudly and most importantly, listen to me, most importantly, proudly stood my ground and voiced, I'll go out. So if someone asks me to go out, yeah, I'll go out, but I'm not drinking because I decided to not drink alcohol this year. When something was offered, I said, no, thank you. If someone said why, I said, because I'm not drinking alcohol this year. If they asked why again, I said, I just decided to give it up for 2020. Most of the time they stopped at that. If they kept asking why, I told them the truth. I hated the way I felt and who I would become sometimes. And actually, most of the time, people applauded me for it. They were like, wow, that's amazing. And they respected that decision. And even they would say things like, wow, I could never do that. Laugh it off a little bit. But I tell you what, it was empowering standing my ground. It was strengthening, and it definitely brought a lot of empowerment for when these times came up. All it takes, though, is a decision. And I know for me, like I said, I had the idea and I was not sure if I could do it or if I would do it or if I would follow through, if I could follow through. But then it was a no-brainer decision. And then all worry or fear of me not following through just dissolved. It was a convicted decision. I had so much conviction that this is what I wanted, this is what I needed, and I could do it. And even if you are thinking, well, maybe I am not going to follow through, decide anyway. What are your reasons? And decide anyway, make that decision. Here are the challenges that I faced. There are two main ones that I thought of that really stuck out as I kind of reflected back on 2020. Number one, I would subconsciously find myself thinking and actually verbalizing that I want to feel that tipsy feeling and then just needing to talk myself through that. So I would think and say, man, I kind of want to drink. I kind of want to feel drunk and I kind of want, I just want to have fun and do that. And then I'm like, wait, what? I just got to talk myself through that. And I'll be honest, I loved that feeling of being tipsy and of being drunk. That's why I did it. I loved it. I was even more carefree. I cared less about what people thought. It helped me to be more confident in talking to people and being less uncomfortable around people I didn't know, especially bigger groups of people where I didn't know. But I couldn't stop at just being tipsy. For me, I just couldn't do it in the past. I just couldn't be yeah, I'm good. Every now and then, yeah, I could. But most of the time, nope, I did not stop there. I knew that about myself. I would keep going. So sometimes I would find myself thinking or saying, man, I really kind of want to feel tipsy or get drunk. And I'd have to remember why I'm doing this and that, hey, actually, I really don't. It's just automatic. These thoughts come up because that's how I used to think all the time, every weekend. That's what I would used to say to myself. So it's that was ingrained in me, a habit mentally. And I just had to remember those reasons of why I decided to not drink alcohol. And those reasons would in a split second demolish any thought or desire of being tipsy or being drunk. Number two, a high school 10-year reunion, which actually got postponed to 2021 because of COVID. Hashtag thank you, universe. I knew I'd have no problem, zero problem saying no at weddings, or if I were to go out with people, with a group of friends or one friend or whatever. But this damn 10-year high school reunion had me scared I wasn't going to follow through. I was even considering letting this be the one time I'd make an exception. And it was in my mind, I was well, I don't really want to, but maybe maybe this can be an exception. But one of the positives that came from COVID was this high school reunion being postponed to 2021. And it was off my plate. I did not have to worry about it. I didn't have to think about it. I was thankful. Would I have followed through? I don't know, honestly. I would like to say yes, I still would have followed through and say no, but also my 10-year reunion, and I know that we all are great, likes to drink and have fun. So I really don't know, but I don't think about it. I'm not gonna think about it. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, would this, it's just not relevant. Does not matter. And here's what I learned reflecting on 2020 of not drinking. Number one, I don't need alcohol to have fun, to be more confident, to talk to people, to be carefree. I don't need alcohol to break down the walls of being uncomfortable around groups of people. And in fact, a lot of growth has come because I've been in groups of people where I don't know them, but I make conversation. There's been a lot of growth that's come from that by taking alcohol out of the equation with that. Number two, I learned that people were actually very respecting of it. For me, I didn't really care if people were going to make fun of me for it or laugh, or I really didn't care how they'd respond because I was so set in my decision and I was doing it for myself, not for them, not for anyone else. And I didn't really know how people would react once they found out, but I learned that people respected me for it. And they were also surprised by it, especially if they knew me, knew how much I had drank in the past. And no one ever pressured me to drink when I went out or if I had gone out. And that probably had more to do with the fact that I didn't put myself in those situations or the tempting situations or the environment or around people who would pressure me. Number 3, I learned that it's easier to now say no to alcohol right now. Currently, it is actually easier to say no because mentally, first of all, I don't want to break this streak that I have of not drinking alcohol. So it's like sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I'll drink this weekend, maybe I'll go out. But ultimately, I really don't want to. And I just don't want to break this streak. It's like it's already this habit. It's already something that just is a part of my life. And also, I fear how I'd feel the next day. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel feeling like shit, not being productive. I just thinking of that makes me not want to drink alcohol again. But I do have more confidence in handling it and in not drinking just to get effed up. And I know that's easier said than done. Like, who knows when, with alcohol. And number 4, I've also learned that I am stronger than I think when it comes to decision making and to alcohol. Like just saying no. I'm stronger than I think, and it's really nice to be, more productive in other ways, maybe not productive, but finding other ways to fill my time, and that's more healthy, that's healthier, and it's nice to not wake up feeling like shit. And here are some tips if you are wanting to not have alcohol in a certain amount of time, whether it's a year, maybe 6 months, maybe 2, like whatever it is. Here are some tips that I found have helped me in my pursuit of not drinking in 2020. Number 1, visualize yourself doing it and following through 100%. When I made the decision, like I said before, I visualized myself going through the year and making it happen. I visualized myself going through the year, following through. I visualized saying, number 1, saying no when asked and with confidence. Like I visualized myself saying no proudly and loudly and with confidence and strength and conviction. Number 2, visualize how good it felt. Like not only visualizing the picture of me doing it, but how I felt and how empowering it felt to say no. And I visualized number 3, how it felt at the end of 2020, being able to say and prove to myself that I did it and that I didn't have any alcohol in the year 2020. So I pictured it, but also I visualized how it truly felt to be able to say that I did it and how it felt when I went through the entire year having no alcohol. Tip number 2, I know I already talked about this, but saying no thank you, I'm not drinking this year, loud and freaking proud when people ask you if you want to drink. And really, all you have to say is no. No thank you, I'm good. You don't have to explain yourself. If they do ask why, say it proudly that you decided to not drink this year or that you just don't feel like it tonight. Or you could say that you have to get up early. You could say that you don't want to feel like shit in the morning. You could say that you have an obligation that night or that morning if you're not wanting to say that you're not drinking this year. But if asked why you're not drinking this year, you can tell them why, or you don't have to. That's 100% up to you and your decision. For me, I usually just said how I hate the way it makes me feel. I don't like who I can become, and I just decided that I didn't want to. But I think it would be smart to at least have a plan of what you're going to say, what you're going to do if the time comes, when someone asks if you want to go out for some drinks or if you want a drink. Just have a plan for what you're going to say, whatever you feel comfortable saying, but I encourage you to say it loud and proud. You would be surprised at how people would react to that. And maybe you would inspire someone else to do the same. Number 3, as much as possible, do not put yourself in situations that you know will tempt you, or you could potentially get pressured into caving. And likewise, don't place yourself in that environment, whether it's a bar or whatever it is, or with people who will make it hard for you to stick to this goal that you set for yourself. Number 4, if you do hang out with people at a party or the bar or wherever, have something else to drink that's non-alcoholic and make it fun. Make it something that you can look forward to. So like for me, I remember one time we went to the hills and we stayed at a cabin with my friends, some of her friends, and I knew that they were bringing stuff to drink and I did not want that for myself, obviously. So I brought some kombucha. I brought this hot chocolate tea, which I've talked about on the podcast. It's from Organifi. You could have tea, you can make a smoothie, you could have some sort of concoction, whatever it is, just have something else if you don't feel comfortable just having water, or if you don't want just water. And by the way, I know kombucha has a little bit of alcohol, like a tad, but that does not count. I am not counting that. I didn't have it that often, but kombucha I would not count as a fully alcohol. Okay, that's just, because I know that some people may be like, well, kombucha has alcohol in it, or totally know that, but it's a drink I enjoy. And decided that I wasn't going to count that as part of my alcohol of not drinking it. So you know what I mean. All right, moving along. Tip number 5, find other ways to fill your time other than going to the bars, having drinks. And here are some examples that I'll give. So research, if you need to, different hobbies or take up a different hobby. I know that I hadn't really thought of this before until I really was thinking of other things that I could do. And I don't know if you've seen, but like there's these different crafts at like art festivals and fairs where maybe you've seen where it's like a wood piece, like if you could imagine like a wood block, and then people place, I don't know, pins or something, and then they use rubber bands to make a design. So that's something that came to mind. I was like, wow, I could do something like that. Now, I never did, but that's just an example. There's so many things out there. So you could pick up a different hobby, try something new, do something with crafts, painting, coloring, drawing. This was something that I really looked forward to and had fun with, was experimenting with a new nighttime and morning time routine. Reading, Netflix, you could binge on some Netflix, reorganize, declutter, sell clothes, give clothes away, like just decluttering your space. You could fill it with exercise, go on walks, journaling, listening to podcasts or other audio or video of some sort, learn about something that you've maybe been wanting to learn about or whatever it is, but just find something else that you can do to fill that time or just to learn something about yourself maybe. Number 6, sprinkle in some gifts to yourself throughout the year that you can look forward to. You're not spending X amount of dollars on alcohol anymore. So 1, you're saving money, probably a lot of money, depending on how much you drank in the past. But number 2, it's okay to reinvest those dollars back into you in a more positive, healthy way, in my opinion. Like you were investing those dollars in yourself, but in more of a negative way. So why not reinvest in yourself, but in a positive way? This can be with maybe food, healthier food, or for me, I like trying different supplements and different things in, just different bars, drinks. Like I just like experimenting that way personally. It could be exercise or gym, sauna, massages, tattoo, hair, nails, clothes, shoes, house stuff, fun stuff. There's so many options. And you don't have to decide that right away, like what you're going to get. You could just, like for me throughout the year, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get this for myself. I'm not spending my money on alcohol anymore. Like I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this tattoo. I'm going to buy this book, or I'm going to buy this thing for my apartment, whatever it is. And when the opportunity arises, you can do that. Or maybe you realize that you've said no many times, or you said no in a really challenging situation and you invest in something for yourself. Or maybe you tell yourself when that challenging situation arises and you say no, then you'll get yourself this. Or maybe you put X amount of dollars in a jar every time you say no, and then you get something big at the end of the year. And I'm not saying that this can justify spending a ton of money on like buying a car or a house or anything like that. I think you know what I mean. Being smart with it, not using it to buy something super extravagant, but it is okay to get things for yourself and to kind of use it as a reward system for yourself. Tip number 7, get accountability. Have a plan for your accountability, for following through. If your reasons aren't strong enough or you feel like maybe you aren't going to follow through, this is where it can get really important to have accountability, because we are a lot more likely to give up on ourselves. We are a lot more likely to not follow through on something that we set out for ourselves if we are the only one that knows about it. But as humans, we don't want to let other people down. And there's like this mental thing too, this mental component that when we let other people know, we just want to follow through more. And then it's also kind of like you're declaring that to the universe that you're going to do this. You have this intention, this goal, you're going to do it. And it's important to have accountability, because then when those challenging times come up, you can ask for help. You can ask for guidance. You can ask for support, and it's okay to do that. It's only going to help you. Make sure you ask someone who will not sabotage you, of course. Like, make sure it's someone that you trust and that you know will support you and help you along the way. The form of accountability can be a certain someone, it can be a group of people, and it can even be social media. Putting it out there and letting them know that you're doing this. You can explain yourself. You don't have to explain yourself, but just some sort of accountability so that you can hold yourself to that higher standard and that it'll help you to follow through. Number 8, remember your why. Remember your reasonings. Write them down if you have to. Put them somewhere where you'll see them every day. And please remember that this is for you, not them. So when those challenging times come up, when someone offers you a drink, if maybe you get pressured to having a drink, this is for you, not them. Maybe they're making fun of you. Maybe they're like, oh, just one drink, you can do it, blah, blah, blah. Same thing happens when someone's trying to get healthy, trying to eat healthy. It's the craziest thing. Our family, our friends, the people, blah, the people who are closest to us will try and sabotage us. But it's something to do with them, not you. I don't know whether it's maybe they are jealous that you're doing it, or they wish they could do it, or they want that for themselves, whatever the reason is. People, like the ones that are closest to us, want to sabotage us. And I tell my clients the same thing. Like, if you're trying to eat healthy and people are criticizing you for it, like, yes, it can be hard in those moments to just stay strong and to not cave. But you gotta remember that this is for you. Ultimately, be selfish and say no. Because by caving, you're only giving them what they want. And then in the long run, you're going to probably regret it. You're going to feel that guilt. And it's going to help to grow you in this area of not caring what other people are thinking about you. You have your best interest at heart. And you can politely say, like, if you're not going to support me, just don't say anything at all. If you are only going to be negative about it or make fun of me, just please stop. Just please don't say anything. Walk away from the situation. But you have to have that conviction and know that in your heart, in your mind, like, this is for you and no one else, and not for them. At the end of the day, you only got yourself. At the end of the day, it's you and only you. You have to look out for yourself, and you have to do what's right by you and what's right for you. And at the end of the day, you are going to be so proud of yourself for following through, for saying no, for standing your ground, for having that conviction, for having that confidence, for being empowered. And you should be. You should be proud of yourself for taking the step, making this decision. If you are going to not drink alcohol for a certain amount of time, a year, whatever it may be, you should be proud of yourself. And lastly, I'm sure you may be wondering, will I drink again? Am I deciding to not drink in the year 2021? Here's my answer. while I'm not actually saying or stating or making that intention or goal to not drink in the year 2021, and maybe you're like, well, why not? This has done me so good. I know. For me, that was a big goal and intention for 2020. I have different goals now for 2021, different bigger intentions. And while I'm not actually stating that I'm not going to drink, it is likely that I will drink eventually, that I will have wine or something. I have no intention of going out and partying right away to celebrate, and I still haven't, by the way. Like it's right now it's, the end of January 2021, and I have not drank, and I have no desire to, but I'm also not going to sit here and say, yeah, I'm not going to drink in 2021, because it is likely that at some point I will. I do have that 10-year reunion coming up this year. But anyways, yeah, so that's my answer to that. It's very likely. It is likely. But I am, like I said, more confident in how I would go about drinking and handling it and not drink just to get effed up. I have a bottle of wine from California, and I taste tested it when I was there, and it is amazing. And I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the taste of it. That's for sure. But I'm in no rush. I am enjoying sober life. I would love to know if this episode helped you in any way. Maybe if you're someone who you decided, yeah, I'm going to do this too. Maybe one of my tips helped you, or maybe share this with a friend if you know someone who is kind of considering it. But I would love to know your thoughts on this episode as to if it did help you, if you took away any tips, and maybe, this is something that you can apply to another area of your life, another goal. It doesn't have to be with giving up alcohol, but hopefully you took away one or two things that you can use in your day-to-day life with whatever aspect of life it may be. Please, if you have not yet rated and reviewed the show, please do that, especially if my episodes have been helping you, if you've learned things, if they've inspired you to make a change. Please leave a review on whatever podcast platform you listen to. Share it with a friend. Take a screenshot, put it up on your social medias, and tag me. You can find me on Instagram at Sophia_Dawn41. I also have my Flow with the Grow podcast Instagram, where I just share the little tidbits of each episode and quotes and things like that. But we can definitely connect there, or on my personal one, Sophia_Dawn41. I will link those in the show notes. And as always, thank you so much for listening, for tuning in, for hearing what I have to say, and for taking this journey with me. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, week, weekend. Bye for now. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Flow with the Grow. I'll see you next week for your daily dose of positivity and growth.